One sec. Yeah. Hey, hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining in. We will be starting with our session very, very shortly. We'll just wait for a few more minutes while we start with a little bit of introduction, understand where everyone is from, try to understand if you're coming in for the first session as well. हम आज का सेशन जल्दी ही शुरू करने वाले हैं। हम बस स्टार्टिंग से पहले हम बस ये जानना चाहते हैं कि कौन कौन है जो पहली बार आज के सेशन में आ रहा है और कौन ऐसे हैं जो पहले भी ये सेशंस अटेंड कर चुके हैं। सो इफ यू अटेंडेड दिस सेशन अर्लियर एज वेल, प्लीज लेट अस नो. If you're attending these sessions for the very first time, please let us know in the chat as well. We'd love to know how you got to hear from us, how you got to know about us, and if this whether or not this is your first session. You can also unmute yourself and let me know if there's anyone who's who has attended previous sessions like these earlier as well. Okay, first session. For how many people is this is the first session? I
Yes,
think
sir. This is my first session.
first session. Okay, okay. Already attend. Okay. Okay. So I think a majority of the people here, they are coming in for the first session. There are also people who are coming in for the second and fourth sessions also. Oh, that's really nice to know. So I'll give a quick introduction of what these sessions are about and what we usually cover. So this session is a part of Apna's community exclusive. We do these sessions to help you in your professional and career related growth. So we cover a wide variety of topics starting from interview preparation. We cover resume building. We also cover things like spoken English and also other technical subjects. Today's session is about spoken English. We have been doing sessions like these on spoken English for quite some time now. This is the 9th episode that we are doing. We do this every Friday from 7 p.m. And other days of the week, we have other sessions on other subjects. So, but Fridays are reserved for spoken English. So, if you're coming in here for the first time, if you find this session valuable, we'd love to see you in the next sessions as well. If anyone wants to improve their spoken English, I think this is a good platform. So before we get started, I think there are a few questions. Manish, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself. You can let me know what you want to talk about. Yeah. Manish, you have raised your hand. Manish Joshi, if you want to ask something, please let me know. Okay. Sheikh, is there something that you want to talk about? Something that you want to discuss? Okay. Okay. Is there any questions that anyone has before we start with the session? Any doubts, any clarification regarding what the session is about, what we are trying to do here? किसी को कुछ भी सवाल है जो वो जानना चाहते हैं सेशन के बारे में हम क्या करना है? या अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं. Please go ahead, ask a question. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. This is Gaurav from Varanasi. I have a question.
Yeah, please tell me.
So just I want to know the duration of this course. As you told that every Friday this course classes are there. So, if I want to know,
Sorry, can you pardon? What do you want to know?
sir, the duration of this course, as you
The
told,
duration of this course. Okay. Yeah. So we are doing these sessions on Fridays at 7 p.m. This session particularly lasts till 8:30. It's a 1.5 hour long session. And like I mentioned, in this session, we primarily cover spoken English. So this is an interactive session. We will be doing a series of activities to help you practice spoken English and, improve on it. So that's the main focus that we have on these sessions. And just one second. Yeah. Okay. And in these sessions, if you have any questions, any queries, you can raise your hand and you can ask those questions. You can also use the chat to do so. But yeah, we'll encourage you to participate in the sessions as much as possible. And we have Trishna here with us. She is a spoken English coach, and she has been with us in all these sessions, helping all our users improve their communication skills. She'll be joining us in a couple of more minutes. While we wait for her, we will. Yeah, this is a free session, Gaurav. It's not a paid session. Kapil, yeah. Any question that you have?
Hello, sir. This is
Sorry.
Akash.
Yeah, Akash, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sir, my question is, if there is any kind of activities like group discussion or the people who are joined and taking the session, they can talk together and improve their skills?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the session, we will have activities and we will have different structured session. So Trishna will be our spoken English coach and she will be conducting this session. And she would have activities planned for this session as well. So yeah, you can attend the session and you will have, see how it goes.
Okay, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Okay. Okay. I think Trishna is already here with us. Trishna, are we good to go?
Yes, we are. Depending, could you play the video as we
Yeah.
planned earlier?
Sure, sure. So we'll start with a quick video. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. We'll go through this and then we'll continue with the rest of the session. Yeah.
Yeah, so this video is a TEDx talk. It's in American accent. It might require you to have a little bit of intermediate level English, like at least level 2. So what we're also doing is for non-English speaking folk, we have Hindi subtitles so that you can understand the content. This is related to today's topic. So in case you're not aware of what the topic is, please go back and look at it. You can use this video in 2 ways. One is understand the topic itself, which has an idea, and reflect upon what you think about it, number one. Number two, if you're not able to understand it, try and see if you can grasp as much as you can the English part of it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's an option for Hindi subtitles. I'll keep it in English itself. Let's see. Yeah.
Right. So in that case, if anybody cannot understand, please tell us in comments and we'll see what we can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay?
We learn the best when we operate at the edge
Just quickly doing a check. My screen is visible for everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure.
of our abilities and a little bit outside of our comfort zone. The truth is, I could go in for a few hours about what that looks like and how we can do that. But today I want to zoom in on sort of an underrated angle, which is, why do we hate getting out of our comfort zone? I think if you dig into the research of learning and development, it's pretty clear that one of our biggest hurdles to become a great learner is fear. The fear of looking bad, the fear of the unknown, the fear of messing up. That's a huge reason we definitely prefer it in our comfort zone. The good news is anybody can learn to beat fear. That's a skill that any of us can develop. But the way that we do that is much different than you might think. My intent today is very straightforward. It's just to bridge the gap between what the science says about fear and how we normally think about it and talk about it. First, we need to talk about where fear comes from. It's actually wired in. And it comes from a region of our brain called our amygdala.
Welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just lobbed a message way over Jones's head using some technical.
And some people call this our lizard brain. It doesn't really matter what you call it. We know a few things about this. First, everybody has an amygdala. It lives right by our brain stem. It's about the size of 2 almonds. It's there for survival. It's there to keep us alive. And one of its most common tactics to keeping us alive is it generates fear to steer us away from danger. Which is why if we're at a baseball game and the batter accidentally throws their bat and it's flying into the crowd, most people duck. That's our lizard brain at play. It's quick and reactive, it detects a threat, generates fear, we duck. It's also why I can walk around the edge of this dot and I feel perfectly fine, because it's about 2 centimeters high. If this was 150 feet high, I would be freaking out right now. That's my lizard brain generating fear, saying, dude, get away from the edge of the cliff. Our lizard brain is great at its job. However, there's a bit of a glitch to the system. The glitch is our amygdala doesn't really know the difference between the good challenges and the dangerous ones in life. And it doesn't know the difference between the good and bad risks. So its tactic is really to just avoid them altogether. There are 4 sort of triggers that really enhance and create fear: uncertainty, attention, change, and struggle. The idea here is if these 4 elements are present, fear will be present. Now, I think we can all agree that those 4 elements could absolutely describe a dangerous situation. But they're also present in the best learning opportunities as well. They're present when we perform and compete in art and music. Learning involves lots of these things. And again, if these 4 elements are present, fear will be present. And more times than not, when we feel fear, we find a way to avoid doing the thing, which is excellent when it comes to danger, but not ideal for learning. So yes, this keeps us safe from bats flying at our head, but this is also why we don't like to ask and answer questions in a group. Think about it. If I called on you and you raised your hand to speak up and give an answer, what happens? Most of the people in the room go, boom, and they look at you. You have attention. There's also some uncertainty at play. It might be the wrong answer or a dumb question. With uncertainty and attention comes fear. More times than not, we don't ask the question. We call that the lizard won the battle. This small little moment would challenge us and stretch us out of our comfort zone. We feel fear, we don't ask. We've all been there. This is why back in the day you had a paper due in 2 weeks. What day would you write the paper? Night before, same, every time. Procrastination in a big way is coming from the lizard brain, because every day leading up to the due date, we have a choice to sit down and do the research and write, or watch Netflix. Which one do you think my lizard wants? Netflix. But let's talk about why. Through the eyes of the lizard, the world is black and white. It doesn't really know what we're doing. In its eyes, it's either I could struggle right now or not struggle. It's always going to choose to not struggle. Another tactic I do, I call it downgrading the struggle. Like, rather than writing a new article on my website, I'll vacuum my house 3 times. I'm staying busy, but I'm choosing the option that involves less struggle, uncertainty, attention, or change. This is why I wake up in the morning and say, I am definitely going to cook a healthy meal tonight. And then I work all day, and I'm driving home, feeling tired, and my car does this really weird thing. It sees the Chipotle and goes, scoot, and pulls in.
Did you know that now you can get a 17 to 25 lakh per annum salary?
That's my lizard brain at play. In that moment, I'm presented a choice. I could have something salty, fatty, and delicious right now. Or go to the store, buy the ingredients, go home and prepare them. Which one do you think my lizard wants? Chipotle with extra guac. Now, I want to be clear that the tactic of taking what we can get and getting it now, choosing easy over hard, instant gratification, that is excellent back in the day for survival when we didn't know when our next meal was going to be. It's great to keep us out of danger. But we're playing a different game now, but the software is the same. This is also why giving this talk is way harder than the one I did last night in my hotel room. This is also why we've all been in our basement watching TV for a couple hours, and we know for a fact there are no monsters in the basement. But then you turn the TV off, and you turn the lights off, and then you walk upstairs like this. That's our lizard brain. Think about that. We know nothing's in the basement, but as soon as it's dark, the lizard goes, "Ugh, I'm gone." It's kind of funny to joke about, but the problem is that's the force that's driving lots of our behavior. That's the force that's making lots of our decisions. I guess what I'm getting at is the tactic of avoiding uncertainty, attention, struggle, and change is great if we're in danger, but most of our life is spent not really in danger. And in this case, that tactic really robs us of amazing opportunities to grow. I've had the absolute honor of teaching research like this and principles like this to hundreds of groups all around the world. I've worked with Major League Baseball teams. I've worked with hundreds of schools, students of all ages, Fortune 500 companies, and even inside of a prison before. And when we teach this, we ask a powerful question. When has fear robbed you of an opportunity to grow? The responses, I think, say a lot. One, everybody has a response, which means no matter who we are or what we do, this happens. Fear robbing us of experiences. A third grader, we taught this concept to them. He got up and he shared, he said, I play baseball. And in every game, I tell my coach I want to play in right field because no one ever hits the ball to right field. He said, I want to play in the infield, but I'm afraid if someone hits a ball at me, I might mess up, so I always play right field. Everybody can relate to that story, where there is something we wanted to do, could do, maybe even should do, but when the time comes to do it, we end up in right field. That's our comfort zone, and we've all been there. A high school student shared she was in the final qualifying round to get on The Voice, the singing show, and that she had to sing one more song. And if it went well, she could have made it on. It came time to sing the song, she freaked out and left. She shared this in front of her classmates, and many of the students in the room gave her the scrunched up, "What are you thinking?" look. And they're kind of right, like singing that song could have changed her life. Here's the truth about fear. It's really easy to sit in a comfortable room and talk about what we could do and should do. And it's even easier to talk about what other people could do and should do. Like, it's easy to say, on paper, of course, the third grader should play in the infield. He'll be fine. And on paper, of course, she should have got on the stage and sang the song. That's easy to say. But the truth is, if we're in their shoes with their experiences, we probably do the same thing, because fear is such a powerful force. The other angle I want to talk about with her example. We don't know how it would shake down. But I think we can agree on two things. You can't make it on the show if you don't sing the song. Just like you can't get the job if you don't apply, and you can't get into the college unless you send in your app. So fear is robbing us of many potential outcomes. But it also robs us of something else that's maybe even more important, and that's the experience. That getting on the stage and singing the song.
Helen Hansel was able to win any competition she took part in. She was known as the contest queen.
That applying for the job and going through the interview process, those are good experiences whether we make it or not, and fear is getting in the way of that. Every day, no matter who we are or what we do, fear is robbing us of opportunities to grow. I actually learned about this topic from my hero. That guy right there, his name is Seth Godin. He is my absolute hero. And
So how many of you understood this video?
Yes, ma'am, I understood.
Who's this?
This side Kapil, ma'am.
Hi, Kapil. Kapil, can you help our Hindi-speaking folks understand what the video said till now?
The whole video was about fear, ma'am. That how we struggle due to fear. We have a potential to do everything and anything, but due to that fear, we are not able to give our 100% effort in that thing. So that video was about all this.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Did everybody understand? Those who didn't understand, did you read what Dipanjan wrote?
या तो मैं भी एक बार हिंदी में समझा सकता हूँ if anyone wants to understand that. Yeah, someone was speaking, I think. Yeah, can you go ahead?
Hello, ma'am. This is
Hi, Sarvanu.
hello, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to tell you something that your English beats him. I like your English. I like your fluency. You talk with us just like I'm really speechless.
Okay, what do you like about it? What is it that's impressing you about my English?
Yeah, your way of talking, when you're talking, I like your smile and your presentation of this. I just love that, ma'am. I attend this session for the very beginning, and I really understood. And hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can
can
see
hear
you.
I'm listening.
Okay. So I just love your English. I just totally fan of you when you taking when you.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Listen to me, please. Overall, she want to say that she is impressed by your fluency and accuracy of English. That's all.
Let her speak, Kapil. She's talking in a public forum. Let's all respect each other's space, because irrespective of what she's saying, the fact that she's able to come on a public forum like this and talk, she's breaking a barrier. Okay, let's honor that. Right? Sometimes it's not about what we're trying to say, but the fact that we're saying itself is important, right? Yeah.
So, ma'am, I really enjoyed this video. He talked how fear we are in our mind to talk English in like any person, any place. When you talking, just मीनिंग मतलब आपको समझ में आ गया होगा मैं क्या कहना चाहती
No,
हूँ
don't
कि
speak in Hindi. Your English
ओके
is
ओके ओके
good
मैम
enough to communicate. Please
ओके
use
ओके
that
ओके
to
मैम
communicate.
ओके मैम it really I love that this video just taking this
Yeah, go ahead, Sarvani.
Hello, ma'am. Dinesh this side.
One second.
May I
What
ask-
happened to Sarvani? One moment. What happened to her? Dipanjan?
I think she got disconnected. She's not on the call.
Okay, if she comes back, let's have
Yeah,
her
sure,
on.
sure.
Yeah, Dinesh, go ahead.
Yeah, I
Who
think
all wanted
Kapil
to-
also wanted to say something, so let's take his.
Yeah, can you moderate that
Yeah, sure,
Dipanjan
sure.
for us? Yeah.
Yeah. Kapil, you wanted to ask something, say something. Please go ahead.
Sir, I was trying to say because during that video, someone was saying that it is US accent and it is not important. So I want to tell them that US accent is very important in every job, in every interview. Like corporate BPOs, there is a lot of importance of US accent. So that's why we require to improve our US accent. So that's the thing I want to give the answer to those who are saying that this video should be in Indian accent. So Indian accent is important. I do agree with them, but US accent is most important to understand and speak also.
Yeah, so Kapil, I'd like to add to that, okay, what you're telling the community is, when you're a beginner, you want to actually learn, English according to what is familiar around you, because you want to get your day-to-day things done. Now, a lot of places, like a place like Bangalore, for example, has English-speaking crowd because we have people from all over India, and sometimes we don't share the same language to be able to speak to each other. Okay, and so we fall back on English. We also have people coming from outside of India in Bangalore, so English is, even an auto driver kind of tends to pick. I mean, not sorry. I mean, auto drivers are, there are some very qualified people who, run stores and, run transportation and things like that. No offense. But I'm saying that somebody who gets into like a blue collar job and maybe finish 10th standard or something gets in there. A lot of people in Bangalore, even though they're not educated in English, they don't aspire to get into an English speaking job, pick up English because of the cosmopolitan crowd that we have here. And we don't have because I mean, to cater and communicate with each other, that happens. So it depends on your environment. Okay. So translation method, I understand why somebody who doesn't know English at all would want a translation method for learning English, because it's something that you can pick up really quickly. Okay. And you can do that as a beginner, but I would, if you can watch my earlier videos, I always emphasize that learn English as English. Don't organize your memory as in this particular thing is in Hindi this, or Kannada this, or Tamil this, or what do you call Bengali this, and then you translate that into English. That will work when you're a beginner, but you will find that once you need to go into intermediate, you get really, really stuck. Okay, advanced will not be possible for you to progress. So I understand it's really hard. People will feel intimidated. Like you, if you're a beginner, you will feel intimidated that I don't get it, and it's like something because it's not interesting. One doesn't understand. It's not interesting, and then one doesn't want to watch, right? But I do agree with Kapil that so accents and different ways of speaking past English is very useful for people who are getting into an advanced level. So once you have a good grasp on your English where you can manage your life in English, like if you had no other language, then it's a good idea to start exposing yourself to different accents, different cultures, if you want to grow as an English speaker, for sure. I mean, that's the next level. If you want to get mastery of English on a grip, this is one of the things one must do. Dipanjan, is there a translation required or is this okay? Like community, please tell us.
या अगर किसी को अभी जो हम बातें कर रहे हैं, जो डिस्कशन अभी हम कर रहे हैं, अगर किसी को समझने में मुश्किल हो रहा है, लाइक इंग्लिश समझने एकदम ही नहीं समझ पा रहे, तो आप एक बार चैट पे बताइए, तो हम बीच बीच में चीजें ट्रांसलेट भी कर देंगे.
सर मैं कुछ बोलना चाहता हूँ.
Back in 1 minute. something emergency. One moment.
Sure, sure.
सर जी
हाँ प्रवीण जी
सर
बताइए, पूछिए।
सर मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूँ कि
Yeah.
जैसे कि इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग के लिए बोलते हैं कि ग्रामर और से टेंसेस वगैरह का नॉलेज ना हो, ओनली स्पीकिंग और प्रैक्टिस और एनवायरनमेंट हो, तो क्या पॉसिबल है स्पीकिंग सर?
हाँ देखिए, दो चीजें हैं राइट। अगर आप सिर्फ कम्युनिकेशन के लिए इंग्लिश पे फोकस कर रहे हैं तो आपको ग्रामर एंड ऑल के डिटेल्स में उतना इन डेप्थ जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है। आप
जी
नॉर्मल कम्युनिकेशन इंग्लिश डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से सीख सकते हैं, लाइक मे बी मूवीज एंड शोज एंड ये सब देख के, या फिर लोगों से कॉन्वर्सेशंस ट्राई आउट करके भी आप अपना इंग्लिश इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं। छोटे छोटे सेंटेंसेस फॉर्म करना आप स्टार्ट कीजिए, कि लाइक आप जो डेली चीजें कर रहे हैं, कि मैं सुबह उठ के काम पे जा रहा हूँ, खाना खा रहा हूँ, ये सारी चीजें भी छोटे छोटे फ्रेजेस अगर आप इंग्लिश में ट्राई करेंगे, कोशिश करेंगे कि लोगों से आप बात कर सके। अगर भले ही आप गलत भी करें उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है, बट
ओके
उससे फायदा होगा। ग्रामर एंड
जी
ऑल इज डेफिनेटली नेसेसरी है, बट अर्जेंट नहीं है। लाइक एज लॉन्ग एज आप
ओके
कम्युनिकेट कर पा रहे हैं प्रॉपरली तो दैट इज फाइन।
और जी सर,
क्या
और
ओके
सर एक प्रॉब्लम और है कि
हाँ
जैसे इंडिया में तो सभी लोग इतना इन्वायरमेंट है नहीं कि कोई भी
राइट
आपको इंग्लिश सिखा दे।
राइट
और मैंने बहुत बहुत सिर्फ 2 बार ऑफलाइन बैच भी ज्वाइन किया है, बट कुछ समझ
हम्म
नहीं आया। तो
हम्म
सर मेरा मेन प्रॉब्लम ये है कि कैसे मतलब किसी से कांटेक्ट करें इंडिया में हो के, मतलब जो कि पर्टिकुलर हमें 1 to 1 या फिर कोई भी जो एक्चुअल में जो सिखा सके, तो उन लोगों से कैसे जुड़ें?
करेक्ट करेक्ट। देखिए आशुतोष जी, आपके पास ऑप्शंस तो बहुत सारे हैं राइट। देयर विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ सेशंस लाइक कोचिंग जो आप ऑफलाइन भी ले सकते हैं, ठीक है। इनफैक्ट हम अपना के प्लेटफॉर्म के थ्रू भी वन ऑन वन कंसल्टेशन सेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे, राइट। एंड आप वो भी चेक कर सकते हैं, वो भी आप ट्राई आउट कर सकते हैं। ऑब्वियसली फुल
जी
फ्लेजेड ट्रेनिंग तो शायद हम ना दे पाए ऑनलाइन, बट या ऑब्वियसली कंसल्टेशंस हम करवा सकते हैं। बट अगर आप चाहो तो लोकल में भी आप ये चीज ऑप्ट कर सकते हैं। Trishna, if you have any more suggestions to add on, you can. So he's basically asking that if he wants to learn things from scratch, is there any, what should he do? Should he take a coaching, or like how should he approach the problem?
It depends on how you want to do it. May I know your name, please?
Praveen, right? Praveen Thana, right?
Hello, sir. I am Praveen.
हाँ, लाइक लास्ट मैं बात अभी प्रवीण से ही कर रहा था ना, या किसी और से बात कर रहा था?
No, I am
सर मैं
talking.
आशुतोष, ओके
आशु
आशुतोष, या
जी
सॉरी सॉरी।
आशुतोष, आपका क्वेश्चन क्या था?
मैम मेरा
Starting.
क्वेश्चन ये था, मैम मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि
हम्म।
इंडिया में मतलब एक्चुअल कोई ऐसा टीचर नहीं है जो कि मतलब स्पीकिंग सिखा दे। मैंने 1-2 जगह ज्वाइन भी किया है ऑफलाइन, बैच भी पूरा अटेंड किया है। कुछ लोग मतलब 2-3 महीने की क्लास देते हैं, ग्रामर करवाते हैं, टेंस करवाते हैं, लेकिन एक्चुअल में स्पीकिंग नहीं करवाते जो जरूरी है, जो कॉन्सेप्ट होना चाहिए स्पीकिंग के लिए। तो मतलब ये प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहा हूँ कि मतलब इंडिया में मुझे ऐसा कहाँ ऐसा एनवायरनमेंट मिल जाए या कोई भी पर्सनल टीचर जो कि एक्चुअल में इंग्लिश सिखा सके मुझे।
Do you understand English?
यस मैम।
Okay. How much you understand? Because you said you didn't understand in chat.
मैम मोर देन 70 to 80%।
Okay, then why did you say that you don't understand?
But ma'am, accent is not clear. That's why I not
Accent,
understand.
okay. You have to be specific, Ashutosh, okay? So if you can speak this much and you could type in English,
Yes, ma'am.
you could have typed in English if you can speak so much.
Yes, ma'am.
You could have, no? Why didn't you do it? Why are you
Ma'am,
choosing to speak in Hindi when you know little bit English?
yes, ma'am. Just I think I have no idea. You have a host this meeting and just generally.
No, that's okay. I'm asking you
Okay.
a question for your sake. You don't, I'm
Just
not
clear.
offended. I am not
Just
offended. I'm not offended.
okay.
But
Okay.
I want you to answer this question for your clarity. Sorry, can that person put them on mute or the person?
Yeah.
So, Ashutosh, why did you choose to type in Hindi and speak in Hindi when you know English? Ashutosh?
ओके सो
Uh,
मैम मैं इसलिए हिंदी टाइप किया था कि मैं
speak
समझा
it,
मैम
try
कि
and speak in English. It's a good
ओके
opportunity for you to
ओके
practice.
ओके
Yeah, yeah, go
ओके
ahead.
मैम
Yeah.
तो I want to type Hindi type chat box because uh, I I know this chat box everyone Hindi average student, right? So just I share my opinion Hindi because they are comfort for my
How do you
feelings.
know that? How do you know that?
Okay.
Because half the crowd here can speak English. Like Kapil said, there is an English speaking crowd here. There are intermediate learners who know quite good English. So why did you choose again that to speak in Hindi and to type in Hindi? It's a question you need to answer for yourself, and it's a very important question you need to answer. Go ahead. Is he speaking, Dipanjan?
Yeah, Ashutosh, are you on the call? You can go ahead.
Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah, so the point, yeah, go ahead, Ashutosh.
I think he's not sure what to talk about.
Yeah, okay. So Ashutosh, the point is that if you know this much English and then you're not taking an opportunity to practice your English, right? You chose to
Yes.
type in English, you chose to type in Hindi, you spoke to chose to speak in Hindi. When you have a chance to talk, if you're not using that opportunity to talk, how will you get practice? You will not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you're not practicing, whatever knowledge you have, like if you're saying 70 to 80% you can understand, that's quite
Okay.
high, right?
Yes.
That's quite
Yes. Right.
high. So then you need to be specific to say, like when you were asking, why don't you understand the video? You need to identify that and say that very clearly to people around you, saying that, look,
Yes.
I do understand English, but I'm not able to follow because it's in an American accent.
Yes.
Okay. Then
Yes.
people around you, like coaches around you, can support you and they can help you. Okay, that's number
Yes.
one. Okay, if you're going to go in with a testing mindset where it is
Yes.
about the teacher having to prove to you that they're good enough to teach you, you will never learn.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry if this is harsh, but I want to bring this to everyone's attention because a lot of people do that. They come, they start testing the teachers. Okay, you
Okay.
please go ahead with a learning mindset. Be open, see what they have to give you. If they don't meet your standards, don't go to that class. Okay, you always have that choice not to go, right?
Okay.
Nobody's forcing you to pay. Nobody's forcing you to, listen to that teacher only. You don't have to follow them. There's no requirement for you to do that. You have
Okay,
that
ma'am.
freedom. Okay, nobody is
Yeah.
like no military style over here that you need to do this only. Like we're all free. We live in a free country. We have a free will, a free choice, right? So
Okay.
there is in doing that, you are stopping your own learning process, if you ask me. So
Okay.
yeah, so I don't know why you're doing that. That's a very important thing that you need to actually dig into yourself and see. Like if it's spoken up, then it would have helped you crack it already.
Okay.
And also second thing is DMing somebody, especially a girl or a woman in a public platform like this is an unacceptable behavior. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't take offense, but somebody can take offense. It's not okay. Gender wise, please don't do it. It's very disrespectful. Yeah. Yeah. Unless somebody solicits, like, this is for the entire community. Like if somebody solicits, say it's okay, DM me. It's not about men or women. It's about anybody. It's a general practice when we're in a public forum. Speak to everybody. Unless you are asked to DM, then it's okay. Or ask for permission. Like, can I DM you? Can I, direct message you? Then if the other person says yes, then you can do that. Okay. So Ashutosh, first is please, to answer your question, is please realign your approach. into a learning mindset and not a testing mindset. That's number one. Second thing is you need to test your English level, because what you were saying earlier is that you don't know any English at all, but you seem to know some English, right? You're obviously able to communicate something. I don't know how much you're able to communicate or what your limit is, but you need to identify that. India is filled with English teachers, okay? And you can find, once you know what you need, it is, not difficult to find a teacher who can teach you. Okay, it's up to you in terms of how you will use those learning opportunities. And if you're not able to find somebody in person, then you can find somebody online. Like there are these websites called Preply, for example. They'll cost you a little bit more, but you have English teachers from all over the world, and they will teach you, you know. But
Please, ma'am, repeat, ma'am.
I will
Which
type that
website?
in the text box. You can go there.
Okay.
Something, ma'am.
Yeah, I think Akash wanted to say something. So should we go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, Akash, please go ahead. Yeah.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. Hi, Akash.
My name is Akash Dixit. I am from India and I'm from a rural background. I came to Delhi and I have started working with an Australian-based company. And over there, that is completely digital marketing company, so completely technical things. So I started communicating in English with the Australian people, and they have a completely different accent. They say like "Today" or "Mahalo," "How are you, Mike?" So that's a completely different accent. And when I tried, I think that I worked over there for 2 years, and I thought my English is very improved and I can talk to everyone. But I have epilepsy as well, so I had seizures. I have connected with people in America, Epilepsy Society of America. So over there, I have talked to people, and they have asked me general questions like day-to-day things that happens with me. And over there, I realized that a lot of uh, word meanings I don't know. Like when I try to talk to them, I got to know that a lot of things I don't know those words in English. So I'm not able to communicate properly, like in day-to-day things. But in technically, I know everything, so that's very easy. Or at my job, I'm very able to communicate with people because that's completely technical communication. But when I talk to people generally and in the day-to-day things, I have found that I like my what is to uh, uh, there is a word for more words in English.
Vocabulary.
Vocabulary, yeah. I got to know that my vocabulary is not good. That's not powerful, and that is very, very important to communicate in English. If your vocabulary is good and your grammar is not good, you can speak in English. You can communicate what you want to say. If you know the words only, like if you know the vocabulary only, you can you can communicate what you want to say, what you want to tell the person. But if your vocabulary is not good, you will find a lot of difficulties communicating with people. I've talked to different countries, like a lot of countries. Because of epilepsy, I connected with a lot of countries and people, and their accent are very different. But I realized that I need to improve my vocabulary. So it's very important, and that's my point. That if the vocabulary is good, then it's very easier for everyone to communicate and learn English easily and communicate in English.
So is that a question, or you want to share what you said with the community?
I just want to share that what I have felt and
Thank
what
you
I
so
have
much.
experienced when I'm trying to learn English. These kind of difficulties I have faced when I'm talking day to day in general things. I found that my vocabulary in general things is very bad. I don't know a lot of words.
Yeah, so that happens when we go to a new country because the usage is very different, right? Like the common, I think there are 50,000 words or something people in a certain community use to basically get all their work done. So the moment you go to like UK, for example, or US, for example, that mixture of words and what they mean will be different. That doesn't mean our vocabulary is bad. It just means that we need to expand our horizons more. It's just it's like let's not question what we already know, but let's look at the fact that we already know this much, but there's more to learn. And you so rightly said that English is like an ocean, right? So you think you've learned something and you're good at it, and then when you go to the next level, you're like, oh my God, there's something more to learn. Yeah, that happens.
That's what I want to say. Like, not that I'm good in English, but when I've talked to different people from different country, I found that I'm not good in English. And that my vocabulary is bad.
Hmm. I wouldn't say it's bad. I would just say that it needs to expand more because you come to a different country with people with different cultures and they will use the language. It's the same language, but usage meaning will be very different. So what an Indian would say using the same word and what a person in US would say, it could mean completely different things. Right? I mean, you would have had
Like
that experience.
Hindi and Hindi in Bihar and Hindi in Gujarat is different.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I got it. Thank you. That's what I want to say. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for sharing, Akash. Let's give other people a chance. Anyone else wants to
Okay,
share?
okay, ma'am. So I want tell you previous topic. Just you told me you
Who's
can
this?
check the okay, you can check Preply website. So after that, I check
Ashutosh.
Preply website. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can do that. Let's talk in chat because we will need to move forward with the session.
Yeah.
Whatever your questions you have, you can, and your insights and whatever you want to share, please share with us in chat. We will respond to you. Okay, we will need to
Okay.
yeah. Thank you so much, Ashutosh, for being a good sport and, taking feedback and applying it and things like that. We will definitely support you. Please be in touch with us in chat. We'll take up more conversations in Q&A section if it's so required. Yeah. All right. So everybody saw the video. Anybody felt, so how many of you feel scared when you speak in English?
You can raise your virtual hand. आप अपना virtual hand raise कर सकते हैं अगर आपको English बोलते time डर लगता है तो.
Yeah, Gaurav, you can type your question in the chat.
Yeah.
We'll take it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few people.
Okay, so anybody wants to, so what we can do is we can look at how to overcome fear. Like I can do it two ways, okay? I can give you theory, like a lecture, or a person can come on board and volunteer. And what we will do is we'll break down why you're scared and see how you can overcome it. Anybody wants to give it a thought?
Okay.
Who is this?
This is Yogesh.
Yeah, my name is Yogesh.
You're going to volunteer. Okay, that's very brave of you. Thank you so much, and we're proud of you already. Okay, just for volunteering. Okay.
So I
Okay.
used to speak in English, but for some years now I haven't been able to. Normally I don't get the chance, so
Okay.
I'm a bit hesitant when I speak. That's all.
Okay. So where do you feel scared?
It's not like I have the words in my mind, but yeah, when I try to speak, they all come out weird.
And that's when you experience fear.
Yeah. Right now, when I'm speaking, I'm trying to speak slowly, but when I try to speak, it becomes more automatically fast. And when I try to speak, and it all comes out sounds
Okay.
weak.
So why does that fear come? Like, what do you think will happen if you are not able to speak properly?
I think it's not because of the other person. It's because of me. I the way I do things is like I like to do them properly, and if I can't do them properly, then I'm
No,
messed
then
things
what
up.
will happen? Like, so what I want you to do is think of the situation where you know, are not able to speak properly and you start to feel that fear inside of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you, then you're fearing something will happen. That's why you have fear, right? Fear is like, I'm going to have an accident, so I feel scared. So it's a future projection, right? Like, I'm not fearful of something that has happened already. I'm fearful of something that might happen in the future. Correct?
And right now,
Sorry?
and right now, when I'm speaking, it's like some off-topic thing. I can speak normally like this, like when
No, I understand. Like, can you recall
but
a situation? Yeah.
suppose you tell me about some topic, and then I have to speak. Then I go blank. I don't know. Even if I know some things, but in that moment, I will go blank.
Okay, so that's how you experience fear. So one of the response systems of fear has three response systems. Okay, this is for everybody in the community. Dipanjan, can you type for me in chat? So
Yeah.
fear has three responses. Okay, you'll either fight, which means you're like, okay, I'll take it on, and then I have to prove myself, and you know, no matter what anybody says, you know, I will come out like a star. You know, whatever the storyline may be. The second thing is a flight, which is escape. Like, let's not do it. You know, so if I'm going to feel fear and something, you know, if I talk on stage and I'm not able to speak, then everybody is going to judge me. You know, like I had this fear that people will, you know, I feel very awkward. I have social anxiety, which I'm trying to overcome. And I have tremendous amount of stage fear. Like in school, when I went on stage, I like froze and I forgot half my speech and everything. And at work, I started, you know, like the work actually pushed me. So I love L&D, learning and development, and I started working in that area. And then basically you have to go in front of crowds and, you know, conduct workshops and things like that. And when I did it, you know, again and again and again and again, at some point I could do it, but even today, like even 20 years of doing it and speaking for my company on international platforms, it's like even today when I get on stage or when I come into a forum like this, like first 5 minutes are horrendous. Like it's really bad for me, you know. And once I cross that 5 minutes, I'm okay. Like I'm in control and, you know, I'm very comfortable on stage. So, you know, that kind of a personal experience. So what I'm trying to derive out here is when you're looking at fears of flight is another thing. So what happened to me in school is because I got fearful, I refused to go on stage for the next 10 years. Like I'll be like stage, I'm like, no, you know. And the third response is what you're experiencing is called a freeze response, which is going blank, you know, which is what happened to me in school as well. Okay? Yeah, so you go blank. Like what are you fearing? What are you scared will happen? So you know, what are you
In
scared
fact,
will happen if you don't speak well?
no, I'm not scared in particular of anything, but it's more like the
What
type
do you
of
think? Okay,
personality
let
I
me
have.
sorry to interrupt. Let me reframe. What do you think will happen if you are not able to express yourself well?
It's more like I judge myself much more harshly than other people. Like when I'm speaking, and I know I can speak in my head. All the sentences are there, but if I can't form them correctly, then it's like it's more like I'm disappointed in myself.
There you go. Okay. So you're disappointed. You are like you'll get disappointed in yourself. If you're disappointed in yourself, then what happens?
Even if right now I'm speaking, it's coming out broken, right?
No, now
So
it's fine. You're doing really well. No, so if you get disappointed in yourself, what happens? If you're disappointed, then what? Why? Like, can you elaborate that a little bit more? Disappointed,
yeah,
like you're not good
it's
enough.
like I can do so much better on paper. Like if I had to write it, I can do so much better. The only problem is when I'm speaking.
No, I understand. Okay, I understand. We're trying to go in the route of fear. So if you notice, you don't want to go there because just acknowledging the fact that, you know, something will happen if you're not able to speak well. It's something that we resist from acknowledging. Okay? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I am, but yeah, what
Yeah,
do
so
I
if you
do?
get disappointed in yourself, like why are you disappointed in yourself that you're not good enough? Like why?
No, it's not that. I, the way I do things is like I make them as much better as possible. Whatever
No,
I do. Like,
correct. That's who you are normally. But when you do not speak English well, then you'll get disappointed is what you said.
yeah.
Go in that route. I know it's scared. It's like difficult, but try, So basically, if you dig in deeper as to if you feel disappointed in yourself, and then why do you feel disappointed, and then there'll be a story attached to that, deep in our psyche. Okay, if you're uncomfortable doing that today, right now in the forum, I completely understand. And but then if you start digging deeper, you'll find that there'll be a reason why you feel that disappointment in yourself. There may be a childhood story attached to that disappointment. Okay. So
yeah, one time I tried it, but mostly I think it's because I don't get the many opportunity to speak in English. Maybe that's why.
No, don't guess. Like the thing is, what happens is when we have these emotions, we have to allow ourselves to feel it in our body. Okay. And that itself can be very scary. And when you feel it in your body, you will know why you're feeling that way. Okay. And then once we identify why we are feeling that way, then it gives us an insight into. So it might not be your case. I'm just taking an example here. Okay. So for example, if I'm saying I'm going to be, let me take my example. Okay. So for me, I used to feel very awkward while I was growing up. Like I had a very self-image. I used to think that I don't, present myself well, and people will see how, I think it was more like, I'm not able to remember now, like awkward, like inadequate. I think inadequate is the right word. So like I'm not good enough. I'm very inadequate. And if people see that about me, then they'll not accept me for who I am. Right? So that was my story. And if they don't accept me for who I am,
get that. Yeah, I
if
can
they don't
kind of
accept
understand.
me, they don't accept me who I am, I would be like. And so for me, my childhood story, because I have a history, I don't want to go into that history here. I have a issue with acceptance. Again, I have a childhood story connected to that. So whenever I feel that I'm not going to get accepted, then it's like it becomes a survival thing for me, somewhere unconsciously, without me realizing consciously, right? And when it becomes a survival thing for me, I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. So then I have a weird way of, responding. So I kind of try to avoid that situation altogether, is my response. So I go in a flight zone or a freeze. Like then it will be like, I'll be on stage and I'll be like, okay, now I don't know what to do. And like, and then what happens is because of this fear, that awkwardness comes on, and I actually end up reinforcing what I was scared of more. So when I fumble on, in front of people and I'm not able to deliver value, then what happens is people are like, oh, okay, she doesn't know. So either I'll get sympathy or people are like, it's not good enough. And then that reinforces the fact that I'm not, accepted by them because I don't get their validation. And then it's a vicious cycle, right? So, so it's very important to dig deeper as to where that fear is coming from. And it's usually about for many people, it might be about a story. For some people, it might just be like, I don't know the words, I'm not able to speak, I'm not able to. So basically, the storyline is a perceived reality. There's no truth to it. Okay. People don't know me. They are just seeing me at face value. It's not about, my whole life doesn't get validated like in a forum like this. If you don't acknowledge me as a good teacher, for example, and then you don't think I'm doing a good enough job, that doesn't mean I'm not good enough as a person. It doesn't mean my whole life is over. It's just
normally people tend to get discouraged.
not normal people. it's very natural.
Normally people
It's
tend to
natural.
get.
It's natural for anyone. Okay, these are all very deep rooted, like they're subconscious in nature, unconscious in nature. Sometimes we don't even realize. Okay, and then we start reacting to the situation. So fear can have two reasons. Okay, one is perceived reality. So I'm perceiving a threat. There is no actual threat. Okay, the actual reality of the situation is that whether you guys accept me or not, whether I'm validate or not, it's just this situation. Okay, if I did badly, I did badly. If I did well, I did well. Okay, I will need to work on that. So if I did well, then I look at, okay, I put my structure together. I spoke to people well. I presented myself well. So people liked it. They took value, right? If I'm not able to do that and I freeze and then I'm fumbling and then I'm like, okay, then Dipanjan has to take over and manage for me, right? Then that happens, then I get a bad rating and I might lose this opportunity to present in Apna, okay? But that doesn't define me and the rest of my life. It's not a good thing, definitely. I'm going to feel really horrible, but it's not the end of the world. And realizing that is very important because this is like perceived reality. And 90%, like a lot of times we kind of humble because we get stuck in our perceived realities. Okay. So it's important to dig deep and understand. That's number one. Number two, it could be reality in the sense that I'm getting stuck and I'm feeling scared because I don't know the words. Right? And I'm like, I want to talk, but I'm not able to talk. And the other person is
That happens. It's like it's not like I don't know the words. I know the words, but when I speak, I get stuck. And then after when I think about that moment, I know these words. Then I could have said it like this or that, and
Right. Yeah, so that's like a reality check, right? So that's when we're saying, okay, these are real issues that we have. I don't have enough practice. So then we've identified a real problem that we can actually deal with. Okay. So that's the second part of the story. So fear, why are we feeling fear? So there's always a why. Fear can be in form of anxiety. Response system can be freeze, flight, or flight, fight or flight. And then when we're experiencing all of this, it's important to dig deep and understand, are we, getting scared because we're perceiving the reality to be in a certain way or there's a real problem. Now, not knowing words or not being able to speak the words that we know is a real problem that we need to address. Okay. How are you going to address that?
I think I used to speak. Right now, I'm hesitating. I didn't used to hesitate this much, but so I think I should join in-person classes or something.
So the
where I can
solution
speak to real people in real life, like an actual conversation.
So you came up with a solution for the challenge that you're facing. Okay. So basically, what underlying that is the need that you need to practice, saying words more, basically, right? You need to literally talk, right?
Yeah.
So that's a
And
solution.
I think it's because of I have introverted personality, so that may be a reason too.
Don't
So I don't
associate-
speak much normal.
No, don't associate that with this. That's one part of it. Okay. But literally here it means, see, perceived reality, like when we start giving ourselves explanations that I'm like this, I'm like that, therefore I will not do these actions and all that stuff, all that is perceived reality. Okay. We're telling ourselves stories in our heads and we're thinking that it's real and then we're acting on that reality, which is like, there is no consequence to that. And the thing is with something like that, it's emotionally very strong, so we feel that it is real. We feel that it is going to get over. Like if I get on the stage and if I'm going to talk to a stranger, it's going to feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make it. Okay. Is it real? No. I'm not going to have a heart attack on the stage. Nothing will happen. Right? It's just that feeling that feels bad. So that's a perceived reality. Right? So we are making interpretations and we are telling stories, and we do this all the time subconsciously. I'm not saying this is conscious, this is subconscious, okay? And then there is an actual reality. Actual reality for you would be that you need practice. you need to practice saying words more often so that you get more comfortable speaking them. Is it making sense? And then
Yes.
you're saying that, okay, I will do that by going online forums, and I will, I'll find forums where I can speak to people more. Okay. And in doing that, you're automatically overcoming your personality challenges as well, because if you're going to push yourself out there and you want to talk to people, then you can't sit in a corner if you want to improve your English. So you have to step out there and do it as well. Right? So you're overcoming your inhibitions as well as a person.
Yeah, I'm right now I'm trying to find social offline groups, not online offline groups where people meet and talk about random things basically.
Lovely. Okay, so not only did you identify a problem, you've also arrived at a solution as to how you will deal with it. Okay, both your real challenges and your perceived challenges as well. Okay, after you decided this, do you feel scared? Do you feel any fear, or are you looking forward?
No, I'm looking forward to it. It's more
Exactly.
like when I speak and I have the words in my head and it comes out wrong, and it's like I'm kind of disappointed in myself.
Yeah, so like when you say no, I'm going to go, you're saying you feel disappointed in yourself, but when you tell yourself that needs digging in deeper, I'm not going to take that up in the session, but it needs digging deeper. Okay, please take this up with yourself personally in your personal time and see what you can do about it.
And it also comes back to when I told you that I try to do things perfectly. So even if I can speak, let's say I spoke decently to someone. Even if I spoke decently, when I will come back, I will play that conversation in my head, and I would think, oh, I knew that. I also knew that I should have said it like this or something.
Yeah, so is perfection real? The expectation of perfection real? To put that expectation, like if your friend came and told you this, that I want to be perfect in everything I do and by speaking, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I will tell them to be more realistic about things. That yeah, you can try to be perfect, but also.
Does perfection exist in life? Is life perfect?
No.
There can be excellence, okay? Like you can do the best that you can in that moment. There can be excellence for sure, you know? But is perfect a realistic expectation? It's a question. Is it a realistic expectation?
To be perfect. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm waiting for you to answer. I asked you if perfection is a realistic expectation.
No. I mean, even if I go by the definition, how can anything be perfect? But
exactly. So so we are all human beings, right? None of us are perfect, right? Nothing we can do can be perfect, right? It can be really good. It can be excellent even. It can set an example and a precedent. You can be like number one in what you do. But is it perfect? Maybe somebody 10 years down the line will pick up and say there were 10 mistakes in it. Who knows? Correct?
yes.
Possible, right?
Yeah, possible.
So if we put ourselves, I'm sharing this as a fellow human being, okay, if you will, because I have a perfection thing as well, and I know how it destroys the ability to just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it happens. It's like I'm so strict about things.
Exactly, like overstressed, overburdened, like so many expectations on ourselves that we're like, oh my God, before you start the whole journey, you're like, okay, this doesn't work,
Yeah.
and a constant sense of, stress. For you, it is disappointment. For me, it was, something else. For someone else, it might be something else. Just carrying that burden makes it so difficult, right? But if we let all of that go and we just enjoy the ride, then English learning can be such a beautiful experience. Right?
Yeah.
Like just the way we discovered the whole world as children, we can rediscover the words in English. Why not? Make
Yeah,
those
so
funny.
right now I'm realizing it. When I used to speak, when I first started speaking, going to English classes, I wasn't thinking about any of this, and I did not hesitate when I spoke.
Exactly.
And back then, I did not even knew many words that I know now.
Exactly. Yeah. So the bar is forever going to keep increasing. Like the more we know, the more we are going to feel that we don't know. Okay, that just means that there's just so much to learn and explore and experience. Right, that's a good thing. But that does not mean that we kind of put this pressure on us that this is where I need to be. Like there's this whole thing that we should speak like native speakers. We need to be so fluent and things like that. Like Sarbani was like, I admire you. I hope she's not going to put an expectation on her head and say, okay, now I need to sound like that person. That's going to be so hard for her to do, right? That's why I was trying to ask her, like, what is it that you admire? Because sometimes when we admire something in somebody, we're also trying to identify what uh, skill we could, better in ourselves. And to do that is a good thing, you know. But to set an expectation on our heads and say, okay, this is what I need to be, I mean, we're going to end up disappointing ourselves almost consistently. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to draw. As a kid, I used to draw. So when I first started drawing, it was like I didn't draw well, but there was a time when I got good at it, and I got praised for it. My teachers said it was good, and then I became really good at it after some times. It in high school, and then I think it's kind of like I lost my train of thought. Sorry. What?
Yeah. You are actually comparing, I think, the learning process and paralleling it with your drawing journey. Yeah, you got really good at drawing, then what happened?
Then normally, yeah, it's just a hobby now. I don't usually do anything with it.
Oh, why not? You don't want to?
It's not like I don't want to. It's like even if someone is good at something, they don't. It doesn't mean that they go follow that path. They do something else. Let's do this. This interests me in this moment, so let's do that.
Yeah,
That's
so
that's the reason.
yeah, that's again something that I want to bring to our notice is that we don't acknowledge what we are good at. Right? A lot of people will come and say, I don't know any English at all, and then they will say that in English. They'll have a whole conversation in English. They'll say, I don't know anything at all. I can't speak at all. My communication is horrendous. I'm like, what did you just do? Like, what did you just do right now?
I understand that deeply. What you're saying right now, it's like I can speak. I can know if you talk about like normally people who are complete beginners, I can speak normal English. Oh, okay, but
English is English. There is no such thing as normal and abnormal English.
No, it's something I'm forgetting the word. It's like
fluent.
No. How do you? What's the meaning of the when you can talk very well?
Fluent.
It's like with facts and meanings and the every word you say. It's like it has
eloquent.
Eloquent. Yeah.
That's okay. You can when you recall, let us know in chat. Yeah. So, are you feeling a little bit resolved as to where you stand with English? Are you looking forward to your English speaking journey now?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to going to meeting people and speaking with them.
Yeah, less stress, less burden.
Yeah, it's not like burden. It's more like I'm anxious about it.
Yeah, so that anxiety is coming from that expectation of perfection, maybe. Like if you let go of the idea of perfection, then the anxiety is a form of fear. You know that, right?
Because when you go outside, like you, even if you don't want to, you in your head start to compare yourself with others. So when you compare yourself with others, they're speaking, right? And they got stuck or didn't speak well because they didn't know certain things. But even if I knew and I wasn't able to speak properly, or
So how will you treat somebody who doesn't know English well or speaks less than you? Will you be disappointed in them? Will you look down
no,
upon them?
I'm not talking about them. It's like
No, I'm asking you.
There's a reason that they are they got stuck, right? They didn't know. So what can they do? So even if I knew and then I got stuck, that's the problem.
So you need to acknowledge where the issue is, which means that you don't have practice in English, and you need to address that. You understand?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to the classes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the end game. Then just go to the classes and like improve your practice in it. That's reality, and that's the next step. So we moved on from this story. Well, Sayantan is back in our classes, Dipanjan.
Yeah, I think there's one question from Nidhi which is there from quite some time. We can maybe take that.
Yeah, like not right now. We'll get into the Q&A section.
Sure. I think we don't have a lot of time left, so
I can see that. I'm on it.
Sure. Yeah.
So basically, like, thank you so much for volunteering. I know it was a huge conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I hope you're taking away value. If you have any questions, this is, any loop is left open. You want to talk to
Excuse me,
us
ma'am.
more.
I have lots of questions.
Yes, we'll get into the Q&A section and then you can ask all your questions that you want. You can.
Is this class held regularly or it's just a random
We
thing?
will come to that in 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll come to that.
Yeah, you can ask these questions on chat. I'll respond to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dipanjan on a standby to respond to all of them. He has his hands on the keyboard like this. So he'll type very quickly.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So so if you notice, the journey that we really took is we identified a fear. Fear has 3 responses. So one is fight, flight, freeze, or anxiety is also a form of fear. You need to dig in deep and understand why you're feeling scared. So there are 2 aspects to this. One is perceived fear. Perceived fear will be some storyline that we're telling ourselves. So in my case, it was, let me take my case. So for me, it was about acceptance, right? I'm like, if I fumble, if I don't do well, if I'm not perfect in the way the people want me to be, I will not be accepted as a person, and if I'm not accepted, oh my God, my survival is under threat. So that's where my fear would really come up, and then I would have a fight, flight, freeze response, right? So one is to actually pick that up and, address that. The second thing that, and then you realize that what are the actual issues in place. So for example, with public speaking, for me, I was like, okay, I'm not good at planning. I don't know what I want to say, right? I realized something about myself as far as public speaking is concerned, is I cannot speak somebody else's words. So when in school, they gave me like a Nehru speech that I was supposed to by heart and speak. And I realized that I cannot do that even till today. Like, I will not speak somebody else's words. If it's not coming from my heart, if I don't have a voice to speak, then I will not speak. Like, I perform very badly. Okay, like, it's very clear. Like, give me notes to read, I'm horrendous at it. But when it comes to expressing my own ideas and thoughts and my own viewpoints, really connecting with people and sharing, I'm like pretty decent at it, right? So that's something that I learned about myself, and that's what I do, and it gives me a lot of joy to do that, right? So then it's really identifying. So when it comes to spoken English, you need to identify where your issues are. So one gentleman over here, he said, I have issues with vocabulary. Like, I don't know enough words and therefore I'm not able to communicate, right? Another gentleman here said that I know the words, I know what I want to speak, but I'm not able to say them when it comes out of my mouth, I fumble because I'm not able to speak as fast as I want to, right? So then what we're doing here is we're identifying actual issues in the spoken English journey. Okay, Dipanja, maybe we should do a session on what are the skills required for spoken English.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
We should do one session on that.
Sure.
So so basically, yeah, then identifying where are we, what skills are needed and where are we feeling challenged. So the challenges will be different depending on where your learning journey is in English, right? If you're a beginner, your challenges will be different. When you're an intermediate learner, your challenges will be different. When you're an advanced speaker, your challenges will be different. So based on, and there will always be emerging challenges. So please understand one thing, that learning English, even teaching English, there's no such thing as perfect. There is no one place that we're going to reach and we're going to say, okay, now we have arrived. That arrival will never happen. Okay. It's just an infinite journey that we take to actually just, better ourselves and continuously improve ourselves. And that's it. So basically, what does it mean? Uh, let's have goals and not expectations. Okay. And we reach that goal, then we reset another goal and then get there. And most importantly, and I tell this to in all my classes, I personally practice it, is enjoy the ride. Right? Fumble, speak broken English, have fun with the funny things that we say when we're learning, associate language with life experiences all over again. We get to, be enthusiastic about it like we are when we're children. We explore it anew. We made a mistake, when we learned to walk, we fell. So what? You know, and then go from there. And there is no way that we're not getting good at it at some point, right? So that would be my take on this class for today. Any questions? We will, I think, get into the Q&A section.
Yeah, I think we have one question from Nidhi. She mentioned that, she watches movies and read numerous books, but she stutters while having a conversation in English. I can't seem to understand why this happens every time I try to verbally speak, but this doesn't happen in written English.
Okay. Can she talk? Like, Nidhi?
Nidhi, are you there on the call? Can you unmute yourself? Nidhi, if you're there on the call, you can unmute yourself. Yeah, I think, yeah, she is on the call, but I think it's a issue with the, yeah, it's an issue with the microphone. Yeah.
Okay. Can you repeat the question? Because the thing is, Divaji, when a person asks, right, they have
Sorry
a
to disturb you, sir. She went for.
Sorry?
Achha, no problem. Yeah, so the question.
Nidhi went for washroom.
Okay, okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, I do watch movies and I do numerous books. I read numerous books, but I stutter while practically having a conversation in English. I can't seem to understand why this happens every time I try to speak verbally. This doesn't happen in written English.
Okay, so spoken English basically, so there are two sides to this, okay? The very obvious and straightforward side is that we need muscle memory. Literally, we need to practice that skill, okay? So basically, if you're not used to speaking those words, like we just understand it in our head, and our mouth is not used to saying that word, we will find it difficult to say, okay? So stutter, mispronunciations, all this are very, very common. It can happen. I wouldn't make too much out of it. Just practice more, and then that would be overcome. So, one of the exercises, we subscribe in our classes is, go to YouTube. There's a video, get story videos with written English in it. And then what you do is, and then get the stories according to English level. So if you're a beginner level, for beginners and then intermediate. So they have there are a lot of English speaking and support channels on YouTube. So they will give you the story for your level. So basically you try and listen to it 2 times. One is for comprehension. Second time is for understanding, identifying how it is pronounced. And the third time you actually read it out loud, and you do this exercise at least 3 times a week, continuously. And what happens is it just gives you physical practice to mouth, especially when you don't have opportunities to talk to people around you. I would also encourage people who don't have people around you to talk, because when we communicate to people one-on-one, we use very, very limited vocabulary, Once we get mastery in about 5,000 to 10,000 words, we're like good to go. We don't need more than that. And when there's no requirement, then we don't like learn and grow. So usually it's a good idea to, that's why, a lot of coaches would subscribe, read books, because that will expose us to more vocabulary, more language, more different kinds of cultures, different kinds of people, which may be difficult when we interact with people face to face. And then you can also look at now these days. I mean, the world is flat; like everything is available on the screen. So, yeah, I mean, please, if that makes you comfortable, depends on what kind of person you are. I mean, if you like reading, do that. If you like music, do that. If you like, socializing, do that. Like whatever is entertaining for you to use your English to communicate. And people are very understanding, so you don't have to worry about, broken English or bad English. Yeah. Gaurav?
Yeah, there's one question from Gaurav. He wanted to understand how to develop a US accent.
Okay, so I don't subscribe accents. I don't personally subscribe accents. For me, pronunciation is very important, right? So pronunciation is basically, so English has a different sound system. So it's not the same as written. So the written system and the sound system in English are completely different. Okay, and there is an international standard called IPA, which defines what these sound systems are, the 44 sounds, and basically being able to say them. Accents are just basically like a change in rhythm, melody, and also like how we, put together words like we might. So for British English, we say some R's are silent, but in American English, we would pronounce them. That's a difference. So I would, strongly encourage you and urge you to focus on getting your pronunciation right, and then you can do as many accents as you want, like
Yeah,
try
I mean,
American, British, Australian, like
yeah, I mean,
try
it's
all.
important that you can understand what the person is saying. You don't have to develop an accent yourself, because obviously it's someone else who's staying in a different country. That's why they're speaking in a particular manner. So you don't have to like emulate that. As long as you're able to understand what the other person is saying, that I think that solves the purpose. Like even I don't know US accent or any other particular accent. Like it's all that we understand things what's happening in movies maybe, and that gets the job done.
What I'm trying to say, the tangent to the community, is that if you want to develop an accent, there's no harm in it, but please do it for entertainment rather
Yeah.
than it to be a performance, this thing for you, that if you don't get it, then oh my God.
Yeah.
Like even, I think ITS is a big example of that. Like people would hire people with particular accents, but it actually backfired on the entire industry, and a lot of people had issues like, I know I'm speaking to a person from India, why are they pretending to be somebody else? Like it became an issue. Now people are just authentic. They say where they're from and what they do. As long as communication is okay, that's fine. But if you do want to develop an American accent, please do. All the best to you.
I think there's one last question here, which is from Sagar. Sagar has asked if you can suggest some books and videos that you can refer to and watch to learn English quicker.
I wouldn't recommend anybody any books or any movies for you to improve English. I would recommend that you read and watch movies for entertainment. Okay, so go to Google, see which genre you like. Do you like horror? Do you like drama? Do you like whatever? And then search for it, and then you can watch those movies. Like enjoy the movie, not because it's in English. Just enjoy it. Like the more you start enjoying content in English, like what the best thing to do is actually look at where your interest areas lie, right? So do you like reading? Do you like listening to things? Do you like watching stuff? Like different people are different. Do you like interacting with people? Like identify where you get your how do you say that high from? Like where do you get your high from? Right, and that you would do in any language. Like you as a person would do that and subscribe to that, right? And then do that in English. Like if you're a person who loves workout and you're into fitness and things like that, do fitness, videos in English. If you're a person who likes cooking and trying out new dishes, Like if you like DIY projects, like you like construction work and you want to, put up like a shelf in your house, open a video in English and do that.
Yeah. The word I was looking for was how do I articulate better?
Your articulation is good. You just need to practice more, Yogesh.
Yep.
Your articulation is very good. So articulation is basically being able to put your thoughts into words which are very clear. Okay, that's
Yeah,
articulation.
in a very detailed manner, I guess.
You do that. You already do that. Okay, you have that skill. So you don't tell yourself that you're not articulate. You are articulate. You are having difficulty literally saying the words because you don't have practice. You understand, right? Yogesh? Yeah, so that's a different issue. Like, don't tell yourself you're not articulate. You're very articulate. Because you're articulate, you are like, okay, I'm not able to say it as well. So that's like, pinching you somewhere. Yeah. So you are a very articulate person, for sure. You communicated very well.
Okay, I think we've covered all the questions that were there in the chat. So yeah, we can move towards the conclusion of the session.
There was somebody in Q&A, no? Dipanjan?
Yeah, that was Nidhi. That was Nidhi.
Nidhi, all
Covered
right,
that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Trishna, if you want to say anything before we close, then otherwise I'll move towards the conclusion.
I'm just thinking. So this is like a conclusion of 10 sessions, right? And I think I wanted to do this session a little differently from how we have done like the past 10 sessions, because somewhere it's a conclusion to one series.
But
And there's gonna
we
be a
still
new
have one, I think. This was the 9th one. We still
ninth
have one.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought this was the 10th one. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is coming towards an end, and I wanted to do it differently because it's also like we are after the next session. I think we get into a different. At least for me, it's going to be a journey where I'm going to look at these classes a little differently because we've taken all these experiences and then push them into the workshop, and it's always enriching to interact with community. Like, thank you so much. I think I would especially like to acknowledge Yogesh, because he came on board and then he just opened himself up in front of the entire community. Like, I think more we do that, the more value we take away from what I've tried to create. So thank you to Apna, of course, but thank you to each one of you for giving me this chance to share a little bit of life experiences that I've gathered, and I'm glad that I really sincerely hope that it's of some value to you that you're able to take away and apply in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So firstly, I'll start by thanking Trishna. Thank you very, very much for, giving your time and valuable experience in these sessions. We've had a lot of learning throughout the series that we've been doing. And I hope in the future also we continue to do this.
Dipanjan, actually, sorry to interrupt you.
No, please.
What learnings have you had? I've been curious to know
No, I'm
how.
talking about the community in general.
Yeah, no, but I would personally like to know. I'm doing this. There's a reason I'm doing this online. Okay, not I could have taken this up offline, but I sincerely wanted to know, like, since you've been witness to these sessions, like, what's your personal take on it?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is the kind of engagement that we have seen in these sessions. People have, like, from one session to the other, people have come forward, been more open, and there are people who are coming in for like maybe they missed out on initial sessions, but they come for the other session. Like Ashwini is one person who's still there on the call, and she's been coming for I think all the sessions that has happened so far. So one good thing that we spend time on these sessions is that people are finding value and they are able to take some learnings every session and becoming a bit more confident in the way they approach spoken English. Utilizing this public forum to have build their confidence and do better each time that they come in. So I think that's one of the biggest learnings, biggest takeaways that we have had from these sessions.
Okay, all right. I'm not stake. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something?
No, I said Apna stake.
Yeah, okay.
I was wanting to know Dipanjan's take as a participant and co-host of my session, but I will take that away. Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, again, starting with a huge thank you to Trishna and also a huge thank you to everyone who's been attending these sessions. If you're coming in for the first time, do ensure that you come in for the future sessions as well. We'll be having these, like Trishna mentioned, on Fridays at 7. And I've shared a couple of things and just reiterating those. One is the feedback form. So please let us know how you found the session and what all we can do better. I have also shared the link to our website. So you'll find the recording of this session and also all other sessions that we have done in this space. You can also register for upcoming events through this space. And yeah, we really hope that, you were able to find some value here and you register for other sessions and we see you there. And yeah, that's all that I have to say from my side. Wishing everyone a very, very happy weekend. And thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm gonna sign off. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.